So I recently received a very interesting email from Paolo Boselli, who runs Premium Brands up in New York. Now, I knew Premium Brands and Paolo's business from my time selling wine. He brought in quite a lot of the Italian stuff that I sold at Binny's. What I didn't realize, at the time at least, was that he's also the importer of Marolo, who is a absolutely phenomenal grappa producer. And so Paulo had written me to ask if he could use my previous review of the Marolo Grappa box in his promotional materials. And I said yes, because frankly, I love the product and I want more people to buy them. And I thought this email was good occasion to taste out some more grappa because I haven't had any for a while and I'm kicking myself. Now, we had a fun exchange. I actually got, for some reason, my different spirits email is getting caught in certain people's spam filters. So we had a fun little episode. I actually had to just call him to say, hey, go ahead and use my stuff. Yeah, no, I mean, he had some very kind words. Apparently, Lorenzo Marolo agrees with my opinions on Moscato, and we did have a little bit of a scuffle about the. So he was initially very confused and surprised that I did not like the sugar added to the Moscato grappa that I reviewed in that same video, and was kind of amazed that I was able to detect sugar in there at all because it was only a couple of grams. But yeah, overall, it's there's no better feeling for a reviewer to have like producers that you admire, appreciate your feedback, and also accept possibly the feeling that you get from viewers that hey, you actually help them make some good decisions in their buying. All right, but yeah, so I thought it was a good occasion to try some more Marolos. I got some vintage bottlings here and some competition from elsewhere in the Piedmont. I have got a very cool bottling from the 1978 vintage. This is a Bocchino, huge producer, and also an Elena Borra from 1984. I don't know exactly how old these are. I basically got sent these, so I don't know the whole story behind them. But I really want to try them here, and I don't have any notes. We're just gonna review these off the cuff, and I will give you my thoughts. So starting off with the Cantina Privata from Bocchino. Now this is so it's steam distilled. Back up a little bit. Grappa is special. Grappa is pomace brandy made from the leftovers after you press your grape must off your other grapey bits when making wine. The other grapey bits, that's the pomace. You're going to distill that. In Grappa, which is distinct from Mar in France and from other pomace brandies so far as I'm aware, you are not allowed to add water to your pomace to kind of make a wash out of it. So you have to distill it in a solid state, which is a right pain in the ass. One of the ways of doing it, not the only way of doing it, is to basically just steam distill it in kind of the same process you would use to make baijiu. Not exactly the same, but comparable. Now, so this is steam distilled, but it's a non-continuous. It's batch distillation still. Don't know when this was bottled. I had a hell of a time finding information about this bottling on the internet, but it is bottled at 45%. It has a nice dark color. So I imagine it's not 3 years old. Let's go with that. This is from the Distilleria Bocchino in Canelli, which is kind of eastern Piedmont, as I recall. I'm terrible with my Italian geography. I'm sorry. Oh. And right off the bat, I mean, this are there indications that this is a pomace brandy? Yeah, you are getting like some mixed tea leaves or some black tea leaves, a little bit of tobacco in there, maybe some oriental tobacco, burleys. But they're kind of like in the background. They're not the main push here. The main push is just some like beautiful fruit. There's some peach in this, like some canned peach, marmalade, a little more tobacco coming out, a little bit of like a black Cavendish kind of thing. Slightly herbaceous. There's a little bit of an oregano parsley thing. Slight mustiness, more fruit coming out now. Blood orange, lots of oranginess actually. And a little bit of grapiness actually, a little bit of like a golden raisin kind of thing, or sultana kind of thing. A little bit of prune. The peach is really beautiful though. I mean, this is something, at least on the nose, they could still mess it up on the palate. This is something that I feel like cognac fans could enjoy. And I'm not talking about like the madmen like me who really enjoy like backwoods small producer cognacs bottled at 60%. Not that. I'm talking about people who enjoy like, Remy Martin XO or something. I feel like they could really appreciate this nose. There's a little bit more of a floral thing coming out, almost some, what is that? It's like a little mix of maybe like some violets and acacia. And even maybe some like sun-dried tomato, maybe? But yeah, so it's the core of like really beautiful, accessible fruit. Touch of lemon as well. But it's like playing around that core of fruit are all these fun other notes. Slightly herbaceous, tobacco, teas, a little bit of pu'er. Very nice on the palate. All the grappas are fantastic. Let me try this one more time. It gets a little bit syrupy on the back end, which, give me a second. Yeah, I would bet money there's a little bit of sugar in this. I don't know if it's because they added it or it's just like the casks. Yeah, I don't know what casks they're using for this, but I mean, you could absolutely have like some, I mean, it's not going to be Brachetto cask, right? But some kind of like dessert winey cask could have been used in this to add that impression of just a little bit of sugar, not too much. Is it cramping the profile? A little bit, but still like 90% of something phenomenal is still pretty darn good. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna stand by kind of what I previously said. The fruit on this is so seductive and beautiful. The peach, the most perfect, wonderful raisins you could ever imagine having in your mouth. But also like a little bit of something savory, like almost a little touch of like soy sauce or something in there. Yeah, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of like an umami thing going on. It like just like one mushroom that's been kind of like sautéed in soy sauce in here, just playing around with the fruit. apricot, nectarine, blood orange, mandarin orange again, a little bit of lemon peel. This is very, very, very delicious. I mean, there's a part of me, the principal part of me wants to be annoyed a little bit by the slightly syrupy nature of the finish, but it's just so yummy, I don't care. I really don't. So yeah, you got the fruits, you got that little savory umami touch, and then you've got like, yeah, the things that they're reminding you, hey, I'm still, despite my crushability, I am still a pomace brandy. So you're getting Oriental tobaccos, a little bit of burley, a little bit of like a Maduro leaf kind of thing. Like quince jelly. I guess that's more of a fruit thing. Sorry, I'm getting my categories mixed up. Dried flowers, that kind of parsley oregano thing again, that's in play. A little bit of like unbrewed like pu'er leaves. You just kind of broke off one of those little disky things they have. And yeah, good mouth presence, good finish. Again, like syrupiness is bothering me a little bit on the finish, just a little bit, but it's really not throwing it off that much. It's just a little kiss of sweetness. This is very, very good. I'm going to give this a squirt of water and we'll come back to it. So 45%, one squirt should do it. Moving on to a producer I honestly do not know. I'm sure this is more well known in the Piedmont, but Elena Borra, still in production. This is the Distilleria Vieux Moulin, and if that sounds very French, you have to remember like this is the Piedmont. France is right there. Just it's not that far a drive to like Nice or something. So the Cantina, the Bocchino, I don't really know the great mix on this. Some of their standard bottlings are mixes of Nebbiolo and Moscato. I'm not really getting a lot of Moscato in this. This one, for sure, is Nebbiolo, and particularly Nebbiolo from Barolo. Barolo, of course, being the king of Italian wines, or at least it has that reputation. I mean, if you were coming from Valley and Cab, and you've been seduced by Italy, you know, go buy some Brunello and Amarone. You will probably be happier, but yeah, everyone else absolutely Barolo. Although, like, I am very, very partial to Torrasi myself, and also some of the Sagrantinos coming out of Umbria are just so good. Anyways, I will stop talking about wine. This is from Nebbiolo grapes in the Barolo region. That's all you need to know. Sorry. Moving on. This one it's 1984, and it is lot A10 2007, meaning this is probably circa 23 years old. Bottled at 47.5% ABV, so a little bit strong. We're just going up by strength here. This one, I had trouble finding information about the distillery, but I think this is column distilled. Not sure exactly how that would work. I'm guessing it's some kind of vapor steam distillation process. This is much more edgy. So I'm getting a little bit of those classic Nebbiolo-ish notes. I'm getting some like rose water, a touch of violet. But also like unripe strawberries, slightly unripe strawberries. A little bit of tar, That's actually pretty common on Nebbiolo. So bring a lot less kind of delicious fat fruit than the Bocchino was. But I'm enjoying it. There's some orange peel in this. Bergamot. Eat really like just straight up Earl Grey tea. And a lot of other teas aside. Darjeeling, Puer again. Not so much tobacco. Oh, no, wait. There's some like stoved Virginia tobaccos in this. Maybe. Touch of like lemon pith. So yeah, overall it feels much more kind of like feels more edgy, and it smells. I mean, it smells more of like what I think of when I think of like old grappa. There's some like stems, like just grape stems. Not to say I think there was a whole lot of stems going into the pomace. That's most of the time they're taken off the bunch down there. But yeah, there's like this green note. So like a little bit of like a I don't know, like a toasted Brussels sprout kind of thing. Even a little eucalyptus, a touch of eucalyptus. Okay, so not initial impression on the nose, not as charismatic as the Bocchino is, but let's see what happens on the palate. Same kind of story. I mean, it doesn't. This is really well made. This is a beautifully made grappa, but it's much less crushable. This is a little bit tougher to take. The plus side of that is I'm not getting the sense of syrupiness on the back end of this. I seriously doubt there's any sugar added to this, or if it is, I'm just not noticing it. Yeah, edgy is the right word for this. What am I getting? Like sour apricot is my first thought. Like kind of a sour apricot, but also like almost. So it's like a sour unripe version of maybe the first glass. So you're getting sour apricot, like sour raisin, almost if that's like a thing. I guess you could dry out and raisin like slightly unripe grapes, right? That would be a thing. There's a nuttiness to this, like almost like a Fino sherry thing or an Amontillado sherry kind of thing. You've got your tobaccos, your stowed Virginias, Orientals again, your tea notes, the bergamot, the Earl Grey tea, Darjeeling. Really solid mouth presence on this. Like it's just filling up my entire mouth, tickling my throat a little bit, hangs on in the finish really pretty well. The only complaint I could really raise against this stylistically is it's a bit brutalist. Like this is not going to scare people off. This one might. That being said, I'm going to taste through these again because I'm curious to see what they do with water. Yeah, just unripe fruit. Different kinds of unripe fruit. There's even some gooseberry in there a little bit. The floral thing, that kind of violets meets rosewater thing. Slightly tarry. That's good. Not one I would throw at like someone I'm trying to seduce into Palmas brandy, but still. And now let us move on to the Marolos. So this first one, so it's basically two different vintages of the same bottling. You've got a 1987 and a 1985. I don't know what kind of cask these were bottled aged in, but both 27 years old. This one was bottled 2014. This one was bottled 2012. And of course, Marolo is the Distilleria Santa Teresa in Alba, so further west. Barolo based, again, so 100% Nebbiolo. Big differences in the distillation method. So this time you're using a kind of a double boiler bain-marie method instead of steam distillation. And also, hey, these are bottled at 50% alcohol by volume, which is nice. Oh, man. Okay, starting out with the 1987. Oh, my God. Okay. First thought, this smells like a Speyside whiskey. Not one of the top, headliner Speyside whiskeys. You're talking like, Worm Tub Diageo backbencher from this. You're talking like Daluin. You're talking Glen Elgin, something like that. That's just been in a refill cask, probably a sherry cask, for a long, long time. You're talking, well, yeah, I mean 20, 30, 40 years. That's the impression I get right away. Just tons of, like, just a really beautiful apple kind of note. Ripe apple, ripe quince. There's a subtle floral element to this, but we're much more like field flowers this time rather than violets or roses or other Nebbiolo-y stuff. Just a beautiful, subtle, spicy wood. Like, so a couple of those apples I mentioned before maybe you just like cut them up and covered them in some cinnamon and sugar. It's really pretty. Flowers, there's a touch of honey coming through. And now in comes like the orange peel, but also a little bit of like a candied orange kind of thing. Just little touches of dried fruit, like a date, some prune, little raisin. I mean, there's a subtle, like aromatic smokiness to this, like an incense thing, or really like a lit pipe in the next room over. Yeah, someone in the next room over is like smoking, like a really light Balkan style tobacco blend. That's kind of what's going on here. Just lightly smoky. Teas, yeah, a little bit of teas happening, like a little bit of like a Irish breakfast tea thing happening. It's just so soft and delicate and beautiful. Okay, on the palate, here we go. Oh, man. That's terrific. All right, so I don't know if Paulo and and Lorenzo are watching. I mean, so I appreciate the point about the market wanting something like the slightly sweetened Moscato Grappa, and I understand that. That's not my position. I did not grow up in a traditional grappa drinking tradition at all. At all. Like, the context I come to these things with is man cave, no one else around, no company, no food or snacks or anything. It's just a glass in front of me, maybe a couple squirts of water, and that's kind of it. So I appreciate in the context of a meal like that the Moscato Grappa is phenomenal. I understand that the market needs that, but something like this, I mean, for the nerds who are aware that this exists, and like assuming you could put this on the market at a reasonable price, and that's a challenge. I'm aware of that. And assuming you'll get the words out, this would sell. Like, to the malt nerds, to the rum nerds, like some stuff like this could sell. Like, I know Grappa has a reputation in the U.S., which is not that great, but I mean, look at what Hamden's doing. Look at my God, look at what Lefroy has been doing. Like you make friends with the nerds, and with their man caves, with something like this, and they will do the selling for you. I do think there's a market for something like this. Oh my God. This is just, it's pretty. It's so pretty. All right, on the palate again. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a similar kind of thing. I feel like I'm underselling this by saying, 35-year-old Dalyuan that's been in a refill cask, and bottled with good presentation. But I'm not like that. I love that style. I absolutely love that style of whiskey, and this is doing something like that. I mean, it's just beautiful fruit. Like the apples are singing. The pear, the quince is singing. But it's all like mixed in with this kind of aromatic, old man pipe smoke kind of thing. Dates, prunes, raisins, like sultanas, like good sherry, Amontillado, if you want to pick a sherry. White pepper. There's some clove. There's some cinnamon and cardamom. I mean, in my brain, the only thing I can complain about this is I'm not sure that the 15 and 20-year-old grappas that were in the set that I reviewed are that, far behind this. And this is a little bit more expensive than those, but still, I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, this is really delicious. The development and the mouth presence are really, really, really impressive. This just kind of rolls out with that, mix of fruit and kind of aromatic smoke in a really impressive, just beautiful way. And it hangs on for quite a while. I'm going to give this 2 squirts of water and we'll come back to it. I mean, like, if this is not expensive, or not inexpensive, this 87, but if you are, if you have the money to spare and you've got a bunch of malt friends and you just want to throw them a blind that's going to mess with them, try this. I mean, this will open up some eyes. And I haven't even tried the 85 yet. So let's get to that. Ooh. All right, same kind of stats as the 87. We're just 2 years earlier, 27 years old. Little more clothes on the nose, but same kind of territory like this. Like a lot more, like orange peel, fig. But I mean, yeah, it's a similar sense of like you got like a, I don't know, like a Ben Rins that had just been left in a half dead cask for 40 years. That's kind of the feeling on this. Apple again, but it's much more. The apple is much more toned down. You have a much more kind of edgy citrus kind of thing going on. Oranginess. There's more of a tea presence on this. Black tea, but also like a kind of herbal tea thing, like an orangey tea. Tobacco, Orientals. That kind of like old man smoke again. Apple. Lots of fruit, but also dried fruit. Same kind of mix of dried fruit. It's a very similar profile. We're just leaning things more in the direction of like orange, maybe a little lemon, and maybe a little bit more kind of tobacco leaves. It's a little bit more peppery too. There's a little bit more of white pepper kind of thing creeping through. Some flowers. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you don't want to spend, $500-600 on a 40-year-old space cider. You should spend $200 on a 27-year-old grappa. On the palate. Interesting. We haven't added water yet. We haven't done that yet. But initial impression, it's funny. It's kind of like the same. It's similar relationship between the first two glasses and the second two. This is a little bit more edgy, a little bit more austere. I think I like it a hair bit less. But it's still darn good. I mean, this is... Like, I think Marolo intends these vintage bottlings to be kind of their flagships, and I can see why. Like, these are really phenomenal. What are we doing? We're getting like smoked toasted orange peel, a lot of that, but also like some candied orange, a mix of different oranges. Some Earl Grey tea. We're getting a little bit of bergamot in there. But also, we've got the apples, the pear, quince, honey, dried flowers. It's just those are kind of pulled back a little bit to emphasize the orange. And yeah, again, the tobacco-y kind of element. Orientals, burleys, I guess. Some tea elements. A little bit of, pipe smokiness happening as well here too. Good mouthfeel. Good finish. The mouth length is actually a little bit shorter than this one. It's kind of stopping just past my molars. Not bad by any means, but that's something to be a note. I like this a lot. I think I like the 87 a little bit more. We're going to give this 2 squirts of water, and we'll come back to it. And in fact, go through the entire range again. Let's get some scores. Okay. Back to the Bocchino. on the nose. I mean, this is just. I challenge you. I challenge you. Find a bottle. I don't know how you find a bottle of this, but find a bottle of this. Sit down. Your cognac-y friends, or even some of your rummy friends, and serve them this and see if they're not into it. Like, it's just got like such a charisma to it. In terms of absolute score, absolute points, I don't like it's not going to win the flight. I don't think it is, but yeah, that like canned peach thing is so pretty. There's a little bit of a like more blood orange coming out now that I've added water. A little bit more of a kind of obvious woodiness. A little bit more of a what is that? Like a cigar box kind of effect. Just a lovely, lovely nose on the palate. Again, it's hard to tell whether it's just a sweet cask or if they actually put a little bit of sugar in this. But now they've added water, it's starting to cramp the style a little bit more than it was before. It's still a really delicious style, though. Yeah, there's some subtle campfire smokiness kind of coming out now. So it's like you've toasted up a whole bunch of like, overripe peaches and nectarines and apricots, like over a smoky campfire. There's a little bit of that effect. But yeah, the finish and some of the flavor notes feel a little bit clipped by the syrupiness in the back end. Tricky to score. What do I give this? I'm going to call this an 86 minus. 86 minus. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I wish I had a full bottle of this, but do note it doesn't seem to like water very much, and yeah, it does have that syrupy note on the back end. And if you're sensitive to that, like I am, you need to be aware. But still, I really like this. I would really like to convert some cognac friends with this. Who am I kidding? I don't have friends. 86 minus. All right, back to the Elena Borra. Interesting. The nose is kind of receded a little bit with the addition of water. Yeah, like it smells like I am, just sniffing away at some underripe strawberries in the middle of a musty cellar. That's kind of the impression here. Yeah, I mean, it's not a whole lot of change on the nose. It just feels like it's pulled back a little bit with water, which isn't the worst thing, but, on the palate. That's interesting. So this has, now I've added a little bit of water to it. It has, it's taken on a very interesting kind of profile. So up front, it arrives very heavily on tar, herbs, tobacco, and then as it travels back, through the mid palate transitioning to the finish, I mean, you're getting some other stuff too. It kind of explodes into flowers and a little bit of like a Smarties candy kind of thing. It's not actually unlike what some Nebbiolos will do, particularly from up north. I'm more so like Lombardy than Piedmont, I guess. Altalena, that kind of thing. That kind of like transition from hard-edged red wine into very floral all at once. Some of those can do that. Interesting. I mean, I've been, tasting this for a few minutes now, and I'm still not entirely sure what to make of it. I mean, it's well made. It's interesting. I'm not sure if I like it. Yeah, I'll call this an 85. 85 points for the Elena Borra 1984. And yeah, I mean, it's absolutely a great, if you are a completionist and you really want to have a 1984 Grappa around, this is a good one. Yeah, really, I'm enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it more in like the brow furrowing, contemplation-y way than in like oh, this is delicious kind of way. Yeah, let's stick with an 85. On to the Marolo 87. This was kind of my favorite going into round 2 here. On the if anything, the honey has come out even more. It smells like you've drizzled a whole bunch of honey on top of some malted milk balls. Yeah, this is really throwing like old ass space cider at me. No, but but then you got those little smoky, like pipe smoky, tobacco-y hints in the margins. There's even a little touch of minerality happening now. This is gorgeous stuff. I mean, whoever was working the stills in 87, you just kind of nailed this one. All right, on the palate, I should be providing more description. It's not a huge range of flavors. Apples, with like orchard fruit. Lots and lots of orchard fruit. Like candy, malted milk balls, honey, flowers. Little hints of tobacco and herbaceousness and like in the corners. It's minerality, but like it's the intensity and the vividness of those flavors that is really kind of winning me over here on the palate. Oh man. I mean, yeah, if you are somehow in the market for old Speyside whiskey and you are watching this, buy this instead. You will save your money, and I guarantee this is better than the vast majority of what you'll find out there. It's so clean by Grappa standards, but it's not like it's the amazing thing. Like it's got this beautiful fruit, the honey, the flowers, But then you have that little bit of grunge to it as well. The tobacco, the tea, the smokiness. I'm drinking this. Look at this. I don't know if I can hit a 90 though. If this had a hair more complexity, I would give this a 90, but I can't get there. This is an 89-point grappa. I think it's fantastic. And yeah, I do think there is a market for stuff like this. If people know it's out there, and if people know how good this is. 89 points for the Marolo, 87. And there is something floating in the middle. I think it's a fly. Hold on. Sorry. Interruption. While I get the fly out. We've been dealing with flies all summer here at Casa de Different Spirits. One has never hopped into a tasting glass before, but I guess this is the first time for everything. All right. I'm just going to carry on. We're going to carry on. Marolo, 85. Same kind of story. It's very similar. Just 40-year-old Speyside whiskey, 40-year-old Speyside whiskey. But this one got the kind of edgier refill sherry cask. Much more orangey, much more tobacco-driven. Orientals. But it's still like there's just a beauty to this stuff. The fruit is it's kind of powering through. There's a lot going on in this glass that is very, very austere. Sour citrus, tobacco leafiness, some black pepper kind of notes, but the fruit is fighting back against that. There's some peach going on in this. This wasn't the 87. There wasn't really a lot of like peach stone fruity kind of stuff in this. This is throwing more. Yeah, peach alongside the apple and the quince, raisin. Oh, and now the honey's coming out. I think this is actually stepped up with water. Okay, on the palate. Oh, these are so close. So all the complaints I had about the mouth presence on this one before, especially about the mouth length, those are gone. With water, like this just covers up my entire mouth with delicious oranginess. And it hangs on forever and ever and ever. Yeah, I mean, same kind of like gestalt to this. Like my brain instantly says, really, really old Speyside whiskey. And a good one at that. I mean, can I get up to the... This is, yeah, I can't get up to 89. Not quite. I still want a little bit more complexity. And maybe a little bit of a better nose. But I will give this an 88 plus. 88 plus, it's right there. And yeah, again, I think I mentioned it before. My only complaint about these two vintage bottlings from Marolo is that the standard bottlings are so darn good, and the Nivis, which is now I think harder to get, is, if anything, even better. But yeah, these are absolutely amazing grappas. This entire lineup is really, really good. So yeah, I mean, I don't know who you are watching this. I have no idea who you are. Hello, thank you for watching my channel. But like, if you needed proof that grappa could be really, really good, could be absolutely world-class spirit, here you go. Here it is. So don't sleep on it. Thanks for watching, and cheers.